The comeback. I've always lived in a household full of men who love sports. As a kid, there were 7 of us, including my dad and 2 brothers, who were obsessed with sports. And most of my adult years have been spent happily in the company of a husband and 2 sons whose love of the game goes beyond measure. In our house, it was all sports, all the time. Yo, Mama, the Dodgers are coming back. Want to go to the game tomorrow night? Hey, Mom, did you see the Lakers made a comeback last night in the second half? Peg, come down here quick! Tiger's coming back! And that's exactly how I feel these days. Just like the Dodgers in the 9th, Tiger on the 18th, and the Chargers in the 4th. Because, ladies and gentlemen, my vagina has made a comeback. My vagina has served me well over the years. It made it through the 60s and, yes, even the 70s, while living the life of a starving actor in Manhattan. And my vagina came along for the ride as I partied my way from Battery Park to Washington Heights. Nobody went to Brooklyn back in the 70s, not even our vaginas. In the midst of that deliciously hazy decade, I had the good fortune of meeting the love of my life and husband of 35 years in the attic of a Hampton summer share. The object of my affection that steamy night was not my future husband, but his housemate I had met at the local pub. There were a few faded old satin sheets hung on the clothesline across the attic, creating a 2-bedroom pied-à-terre in this particular Hampton share they called the farm. As you might have guessed from the clothesline, this was the blue-collar Hamptons, not the Hamptons that you see in the fancy pages of the Sunday Style magazine. So my future husband was on the other side of the clothesline with his girlfriend, Maureen the nurse. And on that fateful night, the man I would later marry, fall deeply in love with, and who would become the father of our 2 beautiful sons, heard me, and quite possibly heard my vagina before he even met us. We both smiled as we passed down the attic stairway the next morning while I was trying to tiptoe down the stairs in my red high-heeled candies to catch the train back to the big city. I made a mental note of the smile, those big blue eyes, and I pretty much knew right then and there I was going to be going back to the farm. You know, that's just the way romance was in the 70s. There was no sexting back then. It was so much easier then. We just had sex. So, now the comeback of my vagina is glorious news because we tend to pop out linebackers in our family. Any baby clocking in at less than 9 pounds is considered a preemie. Our first son, Sean, he was 9'5", and he was kind of on the small side. However, we do hold the family record for our second son, Liam, who was 11 pounds, 2 ounces. 11 pounds, 2 ounces. And somewhere there, 11 pounds, 2 ounces, our little Liam. Okay, there he is. Okay, so there's Sean, and there's little baby Liam on the day he came home from the hospital. It was a day and a half later. When my cousin Jimmy's son Seamus was born, he was 11'3", but he peed on the weighing station. He went down to 11'1", so we still won the After Liam's birth and the bonding, After Liam's birth and the bonding and the high fives, this little Korean night nurse at Cedars was taking him down to the nursery so I could get some rest. And I remember almost shouting to her very, very dramatically as she tried to push him, our little nose tackle, out the door. And I said, nurse, please, don't give him any sugar water, I'm breastfeeding. And she kind of huffed and puffed and turned around and said, sugar water? Honey, he gonna walk down to Kansas for corned beef on rye. In the game of life, apparently there's no glitzy halftime show. Around the end of the second quarter, nature just comes along with the ultimate kick in the ass for us girls, menopause. All right, I repeat it, men-o-pause. Look, we all hear about the night sweats and the hot flashes, the itchy legs, the bitchy moods. Yeah. Big fucking deal. But what they don't mention in this sport is that you can literally be blindsided by your own body. Yes, the manager of your team can put your vagina on the DL list. For those of you who don't know what the DL is, it says disabled, okay? So you find yourself on the bench, sidelined, because you have a dry, sick, sad vagina. So my gynecologist suggested I could ease my dry, sick, sad vagina with medication. Okay, fine, doc, fine. I'll take the testosterone, get my sex drive back, juice up my vagina, and make it happy again. But I don't think my husband is really going to be that happy fucking a middle-aged woman with biceps and a beard. So basically my vagina didn't go through this journey as quietly as some of the menopausal authors you may suggest. Gail Sheehy wrote a very popular book on the subject called The Silent Passage. Yeah, right. I decided to write my very own version, The Really Loud Passage, or What the Fuck Just Happened to My Body. You know, we've got so little control over our bodies at this point in our lives that it feels right to take things into our own hands so we can look and feel better about ourselves. Some of my fancy friends follow their mother's lead. Find a surgeon, eyes done at 52, neck and chin at 55, or, if you can afford it, the whole package before the big 6-0. So, where did I have to go to? To a surgeon whose card reads, pelvic floor reconstruction. Yeah, that's right. The women of my family can't even entertain the notion of plastic surgery on their faces. We've spent most of our menopausal days and beyond fretting about the inside of our bodies. The Maddox girls are like clockwork. At 47, our uterus, bladder, and other odds and ends start to move south, ever so slowly. It takes just a few years before it gently starts to slip at 53. And at age 57, it's a fucking landslide. Yes, that's right. One sunny day, you're shopping at Trader Joe's, you bend over to pick up that nice leg of lamb, and your uterus falls out. So, my floor guy is the head of his department at a large teaching hospital here in LA. You know, he was really, really very handsome, and he looked like he could be one of those doctors on Grey's Anatomy. So I had my very own Mr. McNeedy. At a visit with him to discuss my upcoming floor surgery, I asked him if it was possible to include my chin and jowls in the pelvic floor raising. Of course, I was half joking, but I am a blue-collar girl and I wanted to get my money's worth. I might have detected a look of compassion, but I'm pretty sure it was pity. So as I was being wheeled into surgery, I made one last attempt at some kind of extra work like my fancy friends. And I pleaded with my floor guy to see if he could find it in his heart and his steady hand to at least try and take my vagina back to those days of the 70s. If my outer shell couldn't go back to those days, at least maybe my vagina could. Our sons have grown into smart young men who are making their way in the world. And Johnny and I celebrate each married year with grateful astonishment that a meeting in the attic of a Hampton summer share could lead to such bliss. And apparently my floor guy was listening, because now, when we're alone in our Silver Lake love nest, the candles glowing and our favorite Billy Joel CD playing really loudly because our hearing is going. On the outside, my body may look and feel and move like a 63-year-old wife and mother of 2 grown men. But on the inside, oh baby, it's game day. And I'm ready for the play-by-play because my vagina's made a comeback.